Hi, I'm Kevin Paradis. I'm a trick endorser for 2 years, and I'm also the first trick endorser for that trigger system. And in this video, I'm going to introduce you to the drum pedal I'm using, the Trick Pro1-V. So basically there is 3 reasons that drove me to this particular drum pedals. I was playing without trigger and I was looking for drum pedals that both feature the longboard, the direct link, and also that has a lot of power. And I went to a store to try different drum pedals and I was really seduced by the behavior, the power, the feeling you have with this Trick Pro1-V Bigfoot. So the main reason I was using these pedals was for the power, because these pedals, even with longboard and direct link, does have a lot of power and a very good dynamic range. So if you are a heavy metal drummer or rock and roll drummer, this really can be the perfect pedals for you. And if you want even more power, these particular pedals, the Pro1-V, is also available with a shortboard and a chain link. And basically with a shortboard and a chain link, you are going to have even more power than with this one. So first of all, I was playing this pedal for the power and in order to have a longboard and a direct link. But also, I've played many drum pedals and I've broken a lot of them. And I was looking for a drum pedal which is reliable and that I can keep for many years and get used to, in fact. So this one, in fact, is extremely reliable. I'm playing this particular model for now 3 years. I've done 5 tours with it. I've traveled by plane, boats, buses, train, van, a lot of different means of transportation. I don't have a particular case for these drum pedals. I just put this one into a luggage with my practice pad, and that's it. Even as a checked baggage, it's always fine. It worked really like a new one. You know, it's just a small cosmetic thing here and there, but otherwise everything is working very well. The hip block here are just like new. They don't move at all. So this is really absolutely fine with me. This pedal is very reliable. So this is the second reason which drove me into this particular pedal. So then also I was looking for a double bass drum pedal because I don't use, in fact, 2 bass drum. It's a little bit too expensive for me and also it takes a lot of room. And when you play live, you are going to play sometime with 1 bass drum and probably most of the time. So if at home you have 2 bass drums, you have to be able to switch into your 2 bass drum pedals into a double bass drum pedals. And for that, Trick is very useful. So first of all, you have here the drive shaft. This one is extremely interesting because it has absolutely 0 latency and it's moved like everywhere. I can show you. If I take the direct link like this, I can move around in all directions and there is absolutely no latency. So basically everything I'm going to play with my left foot is going to be directly transmitted into the left beater and absolutely nothing is loose. So this drum pedal is very good for this. And also, let's say that you have played your gig on 1 bass drum with the drive shaft here. Now you are go back home and you want to use your 2 bass drum because at home you have 2 bass drum. This is very easy because you don't have to transfer the spring, which is here on a lot of double bass drum pedals, to the left drum pedals. You just have to transfer the beater from here to the slave pedals and then it's done, because these pedals, the left one, also have his own springs. So now let me demonstrate for you a little bit all the dynamic range and the power you can have with this pedal. Okay, so now let me show you a little bit all the great setting and feature you have on these pedals. So first of all, the Trick drum pedals is a compression spring drum pedals. So basically, first of all, this is not really good for the reliability of the drum pedals, because think about this: if you try to break a spring, if you extend the spring, it's going to be possible. But if you try to break the spring by compressing it, it's going to be extremely hard. And the Trick Drum USA have a compression spring, so I can show this to you. I just remove one of the parts, and here you can see it's a compression spring. So this is extremely good for the reliability of the drum pedals. I've seen many drummers who have broken a spring during a live show, and then they just have one bass drum pedals to finish the show. And if you are a death metal drummer, this is going to be a very bad gig for you. So if you want to be sure that you are not going to break any spring live, you can use Trick Drum USA drum pedals, because it's almost impossible to break a compression springs like this. So then it's a matter of taste. Maybe you will prefer an extension spring. For me, I do prefer the compression spring, but for this you have to try the pedals and see what fits you the best. So here for the compression springs, but now let's talk about how you can set up the tension of the spring. And this is also very interesting on Trick pedals, because on most of the drum pedals you have just a very small ring that you have to spin at the bottom of the pedals. So basically you can't reach this small ring when you are playing. And also the ring is so small that it's very hard sometimes to spin it, and it's hurting a little bit. But with the Trick pedals it is extremely easy, because the ring is here. So basically you can reach this ring when you are playing, and so you can change the spring tension when you are playing, and so you can feel the difference when you are changing the setting. Also, it's extremely easy to spin, and it doesn't hurt at all, so you can change the setting extremely easily. And also the feeling you are going to have at different tension is completely different. So this is very good, because you can totally find which behavior of the pedals you prefer just by changing the tension of the spring. So for me this is one of the main features of this Trick Drum USA drum pedals. But there is also a setting that we forget almost all the time, and in fact this one is extremely important. Let me show this to you. So basically here you have a clamp to set up the pedals to the bass drum. So this one is extremely interesting, because well, most of the time you have to do very quick changeover when you are on tour, for example. Sometimes it is just 15 minutes, so you have to save time, by every means possible. So to set up your drum pedals, you just have to do this. Then you put the hoop of the bass drum there, and then you release the clamp, and it's done. And when you have to go, you just pull the pedals from the bass drum, and that's it, it's done. So with this you are going to save a lot of time. But now, let's say that when you are at home, when the beater hits the drum head, it make like 90-degree angle from here to the ground, okay? So here, 90-degree angle. But now you change the bass drum you are playing, because it's live and you don't have your own bass drum. So maybe the hoop of the bass drum is a little bit smaller. So basically what is going to happen is that the beater is not going to stop at the same angle. It's going to be an angle a little bit smaller, maybe like this, so more like, let's say, 80-degree. And this is going to change absolutely the feeling you have with the drum pedal while playing. Or maybe also the hoop is going to be a little bit bigger, and then your beater is going to stop here. So with the angle there is going to be maybe 100-degree. So to be sure that the angle at which the beater stops is always 90-degree, you can lift a little bit the bass drum or unlift a little bit the bass drum, but sometimes this is not enough. And here, the clamp we have there is extremely useful, because you have 3 screws at the bottom of the drum pedals, and because of this, then you can move, if you want, this clamp. And by moving this clamp, you can be absolutely sure that your beater is always going to stop at the same angle, and then you are going to have almost the same feeling on every bass drum that you are going to play. So for me, this is really maybe the most important setting of the pedals. Absolutely, this is, for me, I use this almost all the time. I go on tour, I check the bass drum, I fix the clamp in one position, and then I'm sure I'm going to be very comfortable with the feeling I have on the bass drum. Now let's talk about another setting that I don't really use, but maybe it's going to be useful for you. This setting is on the direct link there. You can choose between 3 lengths of the direct link. So basically you can choose the longest setting, then the pedal is going to have less power and to feel very light, or the middle one, or the shorter length of the direct link. And then the pedal is going to have a lot of power, but it's going to feel a little bit heavier. So you just have to choose the length of the direct link here. You have 3 positions. But now there is something extremely important on every drum pedals. You have to be able to change the angle of the beater, and it would be great also to be able to change the angle of the footboard. So most of the time when you change the angle of the beater, the angle of the footboard changes a little bit. It's not completely independent, but with trick pedals it is totally independent, because you can see here there is 2 rings, one here and one there. So basically this one is to change the angle of the footboard, and this one is to change the angle of the beater. So I can move them totally independently if I want, and it's extremely easy. I just have 1 screw here, 1 screw there, and then I can change the setting independently. And this is very, very useful for me, because you can see there the ring of the beater is just a little bit higher than the ring of the footboard. So basically my footboard with this beater angle should be a little bit more like this. But I do prefer when the long board is just a little bit lower. So this is basically what I've done with the settings of the 2 rings. So 1 here for the footboard and 1 there for the beater. So that's it. I guess you have talked a little bit about every setting of these pedals. Now just one thing more. I was talking about making very quick changeover, and this clamp here help a lot, but also for the drive shaft you have only 1 screw there and the other screw is there. So basically you have only 2 screws, and on most drive shafts you have 4 screws, but this one does stay in place and is very reliable only with 2 screws. So here also with 2 screws you are going to save a lot of time for the changeover. So with this pedal I can be sure I'm going to set up extremely fast behind the drum kit.